If you've been scrolling through endless listings of under-counter fridges, comparing dimensions, price tags, and that vague promise of restaurant-grade cooling, only to feel like you're still not sure which model actually makes sense for your patio or kitchen, you're not alone. I've been there, standing in the hardware aisle, trying to picture a 24-inch box sliding under a countertop while also wondering if it will actually keep my summer cocktail supplies at the perfect chill without turning my backyard into a mini-box factory. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In this review, I'll walk through the real-world setup, daily usability, and the hidden trade-offs of the HCK 24-inch under-counter double-drawer fridge so you can decide whether it's the right fit for your space before you hit Add to Cart. First off, let's talk about the problem most of us are trying to solve. You have a patio or an outdoor kitchen, maybe a built-in bar, and you want a dedicated spot for beverages that won't hog the whole refrigerator. You also don't want a freestanding unit that looks like a clunky metal box in the middle of the room. The HCK unit promises a compact, built-in design that slides neatly under a counter at 23.4 inches wide, 34.3 inches tall, and 22.6 inches deep. That footprint is the sweet spot for a standard kitchen island or a patio bar where floor space is at a premium. The stainless steel exterior is marketed as 304 grade, which is the same grade used in commercial food service equipment, so it should stand up to the occasional splash of rain or a stray bottle of wine that gets knocked over. Now, the first thing I checked was how the dual-drawer layout works in practice. Each drawer can hold up to 50 kilograms, which translates to roughly 110 pounds of bottles, cans, or even a few small kegs. In a real-world scenario, imagine you're hosting a weekend brunch on the patio. You can stash a case of craft beers in the top drawer, a few bottles of chilled roast in the bottom, and still have room for a couple of sodas for the kids. The heavy-duty slide rails glide smoothly, so you're not wrestling with a stuck drawer every time you need a cold drink. I tested the drawers after loading them with a mix of 24 ounces cans and a few larger wine bottles. They slid out with just a gentle pull, and the handles stayed cool to the touch even after an hour of continuous use. Temperature control is handled by a digital LED display on the front, which is straightforward. You set the desired temperature, and the unit does the rest. The cooling system is described as ultra-quiet, and in practice, the fan hums at a level you'd barely notice while you're chatting with guests. That matters a lot for outdoor spaces where you don't want the fridge to drown out conversation. During a test where I left the fridge running while a portable speaker played music at 70 dB, the fridge's sound was still well below the background noise, making it feel truly unobtrusive. One of the biggest selling points is the weatherproof stainless steel construction. Because the unit is intended for outdoor use, the 304 grade steel resists corrosion from rain or humidity. I placed the fridge on my patio under a light drizzle for a couple of hours, and there was no sign of rust or water intrusion. The interior, however, is still a typical insulated compartment, so you'll want to keep the door seals clean and ensure there's at least a half-inch clearance on the back for proper ventilation. Without that airflow, the compressor can run longer than necessary, which is something to watch out for if your patio is tightly enclosed. Let's talk about the downsides that only become clear after you've lived with the unit for a week. First, the temperature range isn't as wide as some full-size commercial units. It cools down to about 33 F, 1C, which is perfect for most beers and soft drinks, but if you're looking to keep white wine at a specific 55 F or store delicate craft brews that benefit from a lower temperature, you'll need an additional wine fridge or a separate cooling method. Second, the unit is relatively heavy out of the box, around 150 lbs, so getting it into a tight under-counter space can be a bit of a workout. If you're not comfortable handling a heavy appliance, you might need a friend or professional installer to help. Lastly, the digital display is functional but not backlit, so at dusk or after sunset you'll need to glance at the front panel in low light, which can be a minor inconvenience if you're frequently checking the temperature in the evening. Who should consider buying the HCK 24-inch model? If you have a dedicated bar area, a kitchen island, or an outdoor countertop that can accommodate a 24-inch width, and you want a sleek, stainless steel look that blends with other appliances, this fridge ticks the boxes. It's especially appealing for homeowners who entertain regularly. Think summer barbecues, weekend brunches, or small gatherings where you want a reliable